I can't believe it's nearly been 20 years since the infamous
"Save the cheerleader, save the world."
That was the catchphrase everyone was talking about in 2006 when Heroes premiered on NBC. It recently came out that Heroes is getting a reboot, and I have some really spicy thoughts on that.
Where does it come
Heroes came out in a time when the MCU didn't exist yet. You know, some of the X-Men had been out, but it wasn't this cinematic universe. We had movies like Daredevil. We had, we really hadn't had any DC yet. What else did we have? We also had, Punisher. I mean, maybe we even had 2 Punishers by then. So, I mean, superhero movies have always been there, and we were kind of getting that early 2000s boom, but it wasn't what, 2008 was like the MCU getting established. So Heroes was such a unique concept. I loved the first season with, I think the character's name was Isaac, that, he was painting all these things, and there was you were learning about these characters who had these powers that they didn't know what to do, and it took a crisis to, they were undormant. It was kind of like a version of the X-Men. But again, it was something that was certainly not really done before in a TV show. I mean, we had things in the earlier days of television, like The Bionic Woman and The Fantastic Four and all that. That was another movie that had come out around that time. Heroes was in this perfect pocket. It also was one of the first online kind of viewing I could see. And it was funny, this is when I was just meeting my wife, and she was in England and I was in America. And that was one of the things we'd actually bond over, was we would watch Heroes. We'd be on Skype, not even Skype. Skype didn't even exist yet. We were on MSN, and we would literally be on webcam and then video and go, okay, hit go. But Heroes had also an amazing villain. Sylar, you didn't know who he was for a while, and how he was getting these powers, and it had a really strong first 2 seasons. And I don't know if this was just, it coincided or it was related. I'm not blaming one or the other, but by season 3, I believe it was season 3, Heroes kind of lost its way because it started going into a direction where, you could only have so much. We had the time shift in season 2 where somehow Hero went back to feudal Japan and had to go back and all this stuff. But then we had this Sylar side story, and then the writer strike sadly happened. And then we had kind of a part 1 and then a part 2, and it just started getting crazier and crazier and crazier. But I understand with a show, you have to up the stakes, because you can't have the same thing every season. Otherwise, people are going to get bored. Unless you're like a sitcom, you're going to get bored. But sadly, Heroes just kind of fizzled out. And it did have, I want to say it did have a season or a few episodes, a limited series, probably several years now. I always say, oh, the other year, but at least 5 years, 6 years ago. And that was okay, but I guess where I'm going with this thought is I don't think it'll work. Not in a post-Marvel Cinematic Universe and DC. I mean, come on, we have the DCEUs getting completely rebooted. Marvel is in this shift. Superhero, Gen Z, because let's be honest, Heroes was a millennial show. Millennials remember it. We were excited about it. Gen Z won't. And they're not going to see what made it so special, because to them, it's just going to seem like yet another superhero show. It's time to give it a break. Everything in media has these shifts and ebbs and flows. So it's going to happen, but I just, you're beating a dead horse now. And just, Heroes isn't going to do it for you. It's not this cash cow grab that you're going to get. And I don't even know how you could even try to continue the story. So that's my very, very, very spicy thoughts, but it won't work. It just won't work. But those are my thoughts. Let me know what you thought. What do you think? And if you did like this video, please consider liking and subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Hello, nice to meet you. I love New York. Hello. What's up? Britney Spears. Yankees.